Hello, everyone. Lawrence Fleming here again. I don't know about you, but as I look at this year so far, it's the same old thing. I keep hoping things are going to change, going to get better, personally and for the world, but they don't. They seem to slowly get worse. You know, that time that's talked about, the time of wars and rumors of wars. They've been talking about war in the Middle East now for months, and they're continuing to get slowly worse. We just had Iran, China, and Russia doing war games. And some of the other countries are getting ready for their own. We know Israel has already approved in the budget an attack on Iran. All it takes is for someone to think that there's no other hope, no one's going to help them. The talks that are going on in Geneva aren't working, and they never have. But people keep burying their heads in the sand, hoping that it will get better. One, you can look at the world without no knowledge of the Bible at all, and you can see things are getting worse. And if you add Bible prophecy, where it tells us things are going to get worse, we don't know how long we're going to be here. And I talk to my friends and family and that, and nobody wants to admit that things are going to continue to get worse. I start talking to them, it's like, don't tell me about the news. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me about Bible prophecy. I don't want to hear it. It says today's times are like the times of Noah. They were going about their business, doing everything that they normally did. They didn't change anything they were doing. They thought Noah was crazy building the ark. Now, God knew he was a good man and his family, and he told them well in advance to get ready. There was no problem with timing schedules. He didn't have to worry about rushing. God gave him enough time and gave him enough tools and help to do it. And that's kind of the way we are right now. Things are getting worse, and the whole world is playing the frog in the boiling water scenario. You know, where you turn the water up slowly and the frog doesn't notice that he's slowly cooking until he dies. If you threw him in the hot water to start off with, he'd have jumped out because the temperature is slowly going up. They're just going about their business. They're suffering through whatever's going on. Wake up. This is the end times. We don't have a lot of time left for people to keep their head buried in the sand. We're still doing lockdowns. Why? We're dealing with this. We're not curing it. We're taking vaccines that don't eliminate the possibility of getting it. We're supposed to be better at adapting to it, but we're not eliminating it. People with vaccines are getting the disease. We're getting worse. We're not getting better. I have a son in a foreign country right now who cannot come home because of the rules. He needs to be home. He has no business over there. He had his vacation. That's been over with 3 weeks ago, and he still can't come home. We'll keep trying. That's all we can do. We're at the mercy of the world right now. We're at the mercy of the CDC and WHO and all the other organizations that are out there, the alphabet soup. And they're just warming up. You know how when you go to a concert and you hear the band, everybody's playing their own instrument. They're not playing together, they're warming up. It's a unique sound, and we're listening to it around the world right now. You know, it's Groundhog Day. The problem is the world is never going to wake up from it. It's going to keep getting worse. In the movie, if you're familiar with Groundhog Day, Bill Murray played a news reporter, a self-centered, arrogant, very difficult person. Nobody really liked him, but he did a good job, and so therefore he was there, reporting on the scene around, was it Pennsylvania? I'm in Georgia, so we've got our own groundhog, but they got one up there too. In any case, Bill Murray was given a gift. Repeat the same day over and over until you learn to be a good person. Now, his stayed one day, and he kept repeating it. And he got to wake up with the Sonny and Cher song every morning at 6 a.m. Well, we kind of got that. It's called a lifetime. We live here on earth, and we learn to be good or bad in our lifetime. And when it's all over, we move on to our other life. This is a temporary place for us. And Groundhog Day was a temporary day. And Groundhog Day lasted for years. You can't learn to play the piano from nothing to that good overnight. All the other things that he learned. He spent a long time there. We spend a long time with God, trial and error, learning the hard way sometimes. Hopefully we learn the easy way most of the time. But it's where we are. We're in Groundhog Day. And we got the real one coming up here in about a week, I guess February 2nd. So think about this message when you celebrate Groundhog Day. We've got a chance to stop being jerks. Bill Murray at the end was a nice guy. Getting there, very tough. And God will be patient with us. Just like in the movie, keep trying until you get it right. All right. As I said, I'm telling people that we're in the end times. You need to be prepared. Now, I'm just going to jump over for my normal spiel here for a little bit, and then we'll talk some more. Christians should be excited for these times. If you're not a Christian, stay to the end, and I can tell you what you can do to become one. We don't have control over what's going on right now, but God does. Now, something you do have control over, if you like this video, click like. It's free. It costs you nothing. You don't even have to subscribe to like this channel. But if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when I release a new video. I don't ask for donations right now. God's been good to me. But I can always use your prayers. And you can help me by sharing this with others. Sometimes on the filters that get applied by YouTube, I don't reach the people that I want to reach. But you can help me by sharing with those. It's a simple thing. It's a community. We're trying to help each other. We don't know how much longer this is going to be. I will never give you an end date. When it says no one knows the day or the hour, it's not talking about the rapture, it's talking about the second coming. But within the same paragraph, he's talking about the rapture. So maybe it applies to it, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't apply to it, it doesn't give us a time anyway. We don't know. So you have to be prepared. I've talked about in my last video about the armor of God. But there's practicalities to just living that you need to take care of as well. What if someone told you they were going to drop you in the middle of the desert? It's 30 days to hike out or sit in one spot and wait for rescue. Either way, and you get to take anything you want to take with you. What would you take? Your TV, your lounge chair, 100 cases of beer. What would you take? I'd take food and water for sure. If I was going to walk out, I'd ask for a bunch of camels. You know, things that are practical. that you need to have right now that could go away? What if the power grid goes down? What if the internet goes down? In these times that we're in, not really seeing the United States mentioned, what if we get hit by one or more nukes? Or it could even be another attack like 9/11. That killed a lot of people. The same people are out there, and they still hate us. And just like with 9/11, they're not afraid of us. And that's where the danger lies. What would happen? Are you prepared? Are you going about your business day in and day out the same as it was before all this happened? Pay attention. Have you been to the markets lately? We went to the market a couple days ago. No, there's still food, but a lot of shelves are empty. A lot of the things that I like bacon, are either in short supply or very expensive. Gasoline prices are still high. There's no reason for it, but they are. There's still ships in the harbor. There's no reason for it, but they are. Whatever's going on, we can't control, but you can control what you do. You need to have supplies. Everybody should have at least 90 days worth of food and the ability to either get water, make water, or clean water. What do you do with water? You can boil it, that gets rid of pathogens, but what if you've got water that might be contaminated with chemicals? There are different treatment plans for that. But boiling water is the way you can make water drinkable, as long as it's not full of poisons. I was a scoutmaster for a number of years. I know what it takes to survive. I'll be okay as long as I can get to nature. For those of us that have lived in the city, that can be a very dangerous place. All these people who didn't prepare, what are they going to do when they run out? They're going to come to you. It's not going to be a pretty place. A day's wage for a loaf of bread? Are you ready for that? What if you have bread stored away? Well, there's a shelf life on certain things. You got to make sure you have things that will keep, dry goods that will keep, and they have to be stored properly. I have some containers of survival food. Most of it doesn't taste very good. I'm not talking about camping food. You can get some very nice tasting camping food, but the survival food that come in the sealed containers, you have to be hungry when you take that stuff out. But there will be people that will be a delicacy. You need to be prepared. And I'm talking about the physical preparedness. Last week and in the past, I've talked about spiritual preparedness. As I said, the armor of God is made up of multiple pieces. The word is the sword for fighting back. You've also got a shield and a helmet. You've got all these things. Look them up in Ephesians. The armor of God. You can't miss it. Google it. I'm not going to drop any scripture references this time. You've got the internet right now. I'm hoping to scare you into action. This is not a good time to be alive from the point of view of humanism for people. They're going to get worse. Hopefully it will turn people to God. But just like with the Egyptians, the Pharaoh kept hardening his heart. How many plagues do you have to go through before you realize God wants you to change your ways? Don't be stubborn. Get into the Word. Become a Christian and let God give you peace, but not peace of burying your head in the sand. Peace by looking around, seeing what's going on, and doing the right things. Telling people about what's coming. We're supposed to be active about that. But you've also got to prepare for yourself. If you're starving, you're not going to be able to witness. Make sure you take care of yourself. Stay healthy, exercise, eat right. I don't want to be your mother or father, but I'm telling you what God is telling. He tells us all to do that. Be prepared now. Okay. I think I pretty well covered everything that I wanted to cover in this right now. The world is going to get worse. You need to be prepared to ride it out. Once the tribulation starts, it's only 7 years. But the second half is 7 years of hell on earth. You don't want to be here. Where people are calling for the mountains to fall on them and crush them and kill them and take them away from God. You don't want to be in that. But we don't know how far the warm-up is going to be. We don't know when it starts. We don't know when the seals are opened and when the horsemen start riding. It's got to be very, very close. Very close. If we're not already in it. Because we don't know. We don't know the beginning. The only place that we know for sure is the middle. We don't have anything that tells us the 3.5 years up to that point. It could have started. Probably hasn't, but it could start any time. The wars in the Middle East are about to break out. The US has pulled their embassy people back from Ukraine. I don't want to get into the politics of this right now because it's not necessary. The Bible tells us about it, and that's all you need to know. Be ready. There'll be no excuses. When you're out of water and out of food, and everybody else is out of water and out of food, where are you going to go? Now, you can survive for a little while without water, but not as long as you think you can. You can last without food. Most of us can last without food for a good amount of time. But it'd be uncomfortable because we're not used to it. We don't practice fasting as much as we should. We wouldn't survive a 40-day fast. Jesus did, a 30-day, whatever the length. 3 days are about the most that we can handle. So practice fasting, but buy up more goods while you're doing it. Just don't touch them. And buy up healthy food. You can have some fun food there too, but not until after you've got healthy food. Rice and beans are a staple. The pioneers lived off of that, and flour, so they can make bread. And it can be unleavened bread as well as leaven. If you don't know how to make bread, learn how. It's a fun thing to do. Do you know how to start a fire? Again, something fun to do. Okay. If you're not a Christian, you need to be one. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, everlasting life with God, because we're all going to have everlasting life. But some of it will be in hell or in the fiery pit, the lake of fire. Nobody wants any of that. You want to be with God. Accept Christ, accept his sacrifice, his blood sacrifice for you. And that's all you have to do. Get on YouTube and Google the salvation message. Look up some of the people that are teaching up there. The Calvary chapels that are in Southern California. Jack Hibbs, Greg Laurie, Tom Hughes, Amir Safati, who teaches from Jerusalem or near Galilee where he lives. There's a number of people that you can look up on YouTube. I started watching Danny the Digger because he talks about the archaeological parts of the area, and I love the history part of that. There's a lot you can put yourself into and learn from. So get out there and do it and stop making excuses. I want to see you in the skies, not see you down on the earth jumping and screaming and yelling, "Don't forget me, you forgot me." You don't want that. You want a new body and join us in the skies. Okay? We'll see you soon. God bless.